use running. If you do, you won't survive. People are sick and people are tired, but inside of me rages a fire. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. You can see every day more and more people like me are breaking the chains of slavery. America's at a breaking point. Once we strike that match, there's no way to turn back. We the people are gonna burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. Gonna watch them run, gonna watch it burn, gonna watch it all come down. Yeah, we the people are gonna burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. Oh, gonna watch them run, gonna watch it burn, gonna watch it all come down. Yeah.
All right, welcome back to LWN Network, folks. Tonight we have a awesome show planned for you. It's going to be a total train wreck. Pretty excited about this. I do have my co-host here with me, Tammy, the Hammered Nation. She's been working her butt off each and every day for you guys. You know, she does try to take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, but there's always something going on. She's always messaging me saying, hey, did you see this? Did you read that? Like, she's nonstop, and I'm trying to work 50, 60 hours a week and do this show. So not a lot of, I told Tammy today, not enough time in the day and not enough hours in the week to do everything I need to do personally and for the show. So we're always excited to bring you something new and something old. And tonight, we are going to attempt to do our call-in show, which is what we cut our teeth on, what I cut my teeth on, Tammy, years and years ago. The grandfather of doing call-in shows on YouTube, and some of the big guys out there thought I was freaking crazy for doing it. And I remember Captain Finger would call him up and say, hey, you want to come on the show? And then Mike does call-ins, and they're like, well, how does he do call-ins? And Shane's like, well, we drop the link in chat, and then people come up and ask questions or talk to us, and they're like, he does what? Yeah, that's what we used to do. Now, we have made it so much simpler for you guys tonight, and the producer will put the number on the screen here shortly for you guys. I know the mods also have the number. They're dropping it in chat right now for you guys. So it is a call-in number. You are no longer required to have StreamYard or Restream and then click the link and turn your camera on and turn your mic on and do all the stuff. It's as simple as you jumping off the show, calling in to answer or ask a question or make a comment. And tonight we're going to be talking about Alcatraz, and that's going to be badass. So you can't watch the show and call in at the same time. But what is cool about our software and our feature is while you're in the waiting room, you get to hear the show, right, Tammy?
Yeah.
We've tested this, and it's not 100% yet, but you can actually listen to the show live while you're in the waiting room until I say, hey, producer, bring in the first caller. and then you'll come in live and you'll be able to hear us, and we'll hear you, and we'll have a good conversation. And I'm excited for that tonight, Tammy. That's something I've been missing. Haven't done it for regularly for a couple of years because I took some time off to reflect. But I'm telling you, we had some great shows over the years. We've had some amazing callers. And you know, this software is not cheap, so it does cost me money when you guys call in. So we're not encouraging anybody to call in and just hang out with us. There's Jeff B. He also got an invitation to join us tonight as well. If he chooses to join us, he's welcome to do that. But yeah, it's not an invitation to come up here and hang out with us. It's an invitation for you guys to call in, say hello to Tammy or I, or Jeff B. if he jumps up here, to ask a question, make a comment, answer a question. We have a question for you guys. So take advantage of that. And I just forewarn you, and I know I haven't let Tammy talk, and that's awesome because the best hosts in the world are the quiet ones, so I get to talk. So the best co-hosts are the quiet ones, and tonight she might have to be a little bit quiet because we are, please bear with us, we are working the bugs out of the system. It might require a whole nother software. I don't know yet, but the producer's been busting their butts trying to get this happening for us tonight. So we might have to mute you when we talk, or you might have to mute us. There might be some echo in the background when you call in. We're not 100% sure. So if you guys will just kindly give us constructive criticism in the chat, give us some feedback. If you call in and then you get off, and you can throw us some comments there in chat, let us know how your experience was. We are here to try to make it the best experience possible for you guys. All right, Tammy, you can go ahead and go now.
I get to talk for a few moments. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, number one, Jeff B., too bad he's got storms. Hopefully his power stays on and he can join us up here, because I did promote him being on tonight. But what can you do when there's storms, right? You know, we know that with our producers, they've had it, and they've had technical difficulties as well. But as far as moving on to the call-in, I have to remind you that the first time I ever was part of Liberty Warrior Nation, I called in, and it was when we just had the laptop, and you know, you were sitting there trying to figure out like YouTube and all that, and calling in, and I don't know, it was just, I think it was godly intervention. You may not think it, that I got through, because that was the first and only time I've ever been able, or I ever tried to get on a call-in show, and I had no idea the technical difficulties that I would have possibly faced. I never downloaded anything. It was meant to be. I got on there, did a phone call, and I just remember we had so many good times with the phone calls, and it's great to bring them back. Great conversations. It was kind of fun with people like, no, mute your mic. No, okay, now you got to shut off your phone too.
The
you know,
most
people
infamous call-in of all time, Mary Kay.
Yes.
Do you remember Mary Kay? And she was getting up close to the camera, and she's like,
Yes,
"Do
bless
what
her.
now?" And I was trying to
She
walk
was
her
like
through
this.
the call. Yeah, I was trying to walk her through the call in, because I think she had put her tablet or her phone up like on a desk or something, and so she was up to the phone trying to push all the buttons. And
Bless her heart,
yes,
yeah.
we were trying to be very kind to all of our callers and walk them through the scenario of first-time callers, and then first-time callers, and they got used to it, and they become regular call-ins,
Yes.
and that was really neat. And that's how I met Jeff B. He called in one time out of the blue in April of 2021. He calls in, had no clue who he was, and here we are, 4 or 5 years later. So Shane Phelps, Jeff Riddle, so many people called in over the years, and it was just a lot of fun. So really excited to bring this back. We will definitely get this to perfection with the call in. It'll be super easy, and we won't have all the hiccups in the train wreck. But tonight, Tammy, hit us with the topics for tonight.
Well, you said Alcatraz. We definitely have that. Then I want to bring up the parade that is coming up that they are going to have as well, June 14th. We have Vance was the tiebreaker on a recent vote. He had to do that regarding tariffs, so we can talk about that a bit. Trump dressed up as a pope. Now that made huge waves all across everywhere. So we can talk about that, mention that, get people's ideas about that. that. We've got P. Diddy's trial starting up. We can maybe cover a little bit of that. Trump did sign 5 EOs today. We can go through those. And then basically, Trump did put out about world wars, and he had this statement about making World War I and World War II national holidays. So plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss. I think the Pope thing is really probably a big deal because people really took it seriously, and then some are like, don't know how to laugh. So I'd like to hear or even hear people call in or see what the viewers have to say in comments about what their interpretation of Trump in that meme dressed up as the Pope, which Trump reposted on his social medias. So just lots of fun tonight.
It stirred up a lot of shit. So
Sure
I'm driving the bus.
Yes,
and
you are.
And you're
tonight.
the navigator. So
And
I
my
want to
hands
ask
are
my
here.
navigator, why don't you go ahead and hit us with 2 of your topics that you want to cover? Let's save obviously Alcatraz for the very last.
Okay, let's do that.
And so let's hit a couple of them, and then maybe what we'll do is take 2 callers on that topic. And I just asked the callers when you call in, let's just stay on topic and let's just come in, ask a question or make a comment, and then let's scoot as quick as we can so we can get as many callers as we can, but also so we're not struggling through technical difficulties either. So go ahead with it, Tammy. And then as soon as I'm ready, I'll let the producer know. We'll let people know. Go ahead and call in, and we'll let the producer go ahead, and I'll let them know when to bring somebody in.
Sounds awesome. Okay, the first little tidbit that we can cover is J.D. Vance because
hold on.
Senate,
Time out.
He's already backpedaling me, everyone. Just like the old days.
How do you like the number?
I talked about this morning on Headline Hits.
How do you like? I can't even point right, but how do you like the number?
I told you guys this morning he was very happy and proud of him creating
that number myself.
He did.
Like
I told them.
I was well, kind of goes, if I could twist my arm the right way, it kind of goes with my tattoo.
Right.
So this tattoo is the flag of 1776. 1776, we the people, 317, 1776.
Gotta love it.
All right.
You were thinking.
I had to do it. Sorry.
That's okay. I told you guys he was very excited about this call-in stuff and the phone number. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. Let's just cover J.D. Vance. Now, the Senate did try to pass a resolution to block and halt President Trump's tariffs. 3 Republicans, if you can guess who they are, their names that we hear all the time, voted to stop and block his Trump.
Let's play a game real quick. I want to ask chat. Maybe some of you have already seen what Tammy's talking about, but I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna guess. But who are the 3 people? This is for chat. Who are the 3 people that are Republicans that voted to block? So I'm going to say, because you and I already had this conversation, I'm not even going to look at chat. I'm not looking.
Don't cheat.
I can already tell you one of them was Rand Paul, because of the conversation. That's my guess, that because of the conversation you and I had the other day. I'm going to say Mitch, the Turtle Man McConnell, is number 2. And well, I'm just gonna take a wild stab. I'm gonna say Lindsey Graham, because he's always a POS too. So, am I even close?
So I'm going to tell you that you did get one correct, and that was Rand Paul. Looking in chat, we have M. Cash does have one listed as well. Susan Collins was the other. So we have one more left, you guys. Who is the third one? I'll tell you, it's a female from Alaska. Who's the senator and representative from Alaska? Anybody remember?
Man, I don't remember. I just remember she had a hard time getting in.
Yep, Michael Gale, ding, 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 ding. Murkowski,
Michelle.
Paul, and
Is that Michelle or Michael?
Oh, Michelle. It's Michelle Gale, not Michael. Oopsie.
Yeah, well,
I don't have my glasses on.
We're used to Michael Gale being around.
Yeah, so those are the 3. Now, what a sad state that is, because the tariffs, from what we have seen, in my opinion, have been a really wonderful thing. They brought trillions of dollars in so far. We've got businesses coming back into the country. So these 3 did try to block it, and Vance had to step in and be the tiebreaker vote. Thank goodness that we had that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have passed, and that would have been, I think, a big detriment to the country. Don't you think?
Well, it's debatable, right? I've heard both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that the tariffs are hurting people, causing a lot of problems. There's somebody that you're following right now that's really paying attention to China, and this is a whole nother show. So we're just briefly gonna cover these first few topics, and then we're gonna get into Alcatraz. But this definitely justifies a whole nother show on tariffs. So there's somebody that you're following that's watching China right now, and they're struggling, which could lead to animosity. And animosity leads to anger, and there could be some repercussions from these tariffs. And will the American people end up paying a price for that? I'm sure there is going to be something. For every action is a reaction. For every choice is some type of consequence, with whether it's going to be bad or good. I don't know. So, do I think it's good that J.D. Vance was the tiebreaker in the tariffs? Well, if the tariffs go the way that Trump and his administration wants them to go and stuff, I think it could be very good for America. But I think that's what's the term in my electrical prints, to be, capital T, capital B, which means to be determined.
I like what I see so far, so we can kind of gently agree to disagree, because I'm full force forward on all of this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get you later, though. Okay. Now, the next one, let's go ahead and just cover a little bit about Diddy, if you want to take some calls.
Sure.
So
let's do it.
Yeah, so Diddy's trial is getting underway soon. Go ahead. The first two celebrities actually have been named, because the jury selection is going on, and they received a pamphlet or a booklet that had all the names, a list of names in there, a binder, and some of them, recognized a couple of these names. Now, I recognized one name. I didn't recognize the other per se, but basically, it's kind of disturbing in the fact that we know that there's going to be a whole heck of a lot of people in there that we wish wouldn't be in there. So they expect it to wrap up in about a week. Opening statements.
Are you gonna
I
tell
will
us
in a
the
second.
names? Okay.
Just wait 1 second now. Don't
I'm like out on the
me.
edge of my seat right now, Tammy.
Well, that's called the tease, Mike. So you have to just hang on. So it's tentatively scheduled for May 12th, and then estimated to last 8 to 10 weeks. Now, Diddy did strut into the courtroom. He did say he's not guilty on all counts, and he said that the sexual acts were consensual. But prosecutors have said for years that he's been having these drug-fueled sex parties. So the two people that were named, one was Michael B. Jordan, who is an actor apparently, but I don't know that name very well. And I looked it up, and he's just not familiar to me. But comedian Michael Myers.
Oh.
That was the big one. So to me, that is not a good deal.
Oh.
Michael Myers. So we know that he's been a big guy all around. And it just is kind of, I don't know, it kind of put a pause on me, because, he just seems like a good guy, a family guy, friendly guy, all that good stuff. But, they say that comedians are tortured, that they have a lot of them have trauma in their lives.
Yep.
So they become comedians because of that. So, and it's not Michael.
Joe, it's not Michael Jordan. It's Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
Not the same person. So just
not
be
the same
clear on
person.
that. As far as I know.
Yep, as far as I know too. That's what I saw. So those are the two names that I guess got leaked out per se.
So let me go ahead and start the race.
Yes.
Go ahead and call in now. I'll take the first two callers. Whoever calls in first. Stay on topic. So are tariffs good or bad for America? Are you glad that passed? Are you not glad? Keep it under 2 minutes. And or P. Diddy. What are your thoughts on the trial of P. Diddy? Who's going to be linked to that? Who's not going to be linked to that? Like I said, let's try to keep it as short as we can tonight. Quick comments or questions, so that we can work through the technical difficulties on our end, because I know Tammy's going to have some in her studio when we take callers. So I'll wait a couple of minutes as we keep talking, and if nobody calls in, then we're just going to move on, Tammy. So go ahead and call in now. Like I said, you'll have to, if you're on your phone watching the show, you're going to have to exit StreamYard and call the number, and then while you're in the waiting room, you'll be able to hear the show live, and you'll be able to hear us talking until we bring you in. So as we're waiting on those two topics for callers, Tammy, let's roll into third.
Okay, President Trump did announce that he is going to donate his $400,000 salary, presidential salary, his annual salary, again, this term, just like he did the first term. But there are people out there already hacking away at him, saying, where are you going to donate it to, and making it and turning it into a negative thing, just like they did the first time go around. They're all making fun of how much time he plays golf and how much money he spends with golf and how much he charges for Mar-a-Lago, which none of it has anything to do with him donating his presidential salary. No. So I just think that's amazing. He's doing it. I don't care how much money the man already has. No. He's putting his own money.
Pause. We got our first caller. Let's go ahead and bring him in, producer. Hello, caller. Welcome to LWN Network. How are you this evening?
Hey, Mike. This is Joe Carroll.
Hey, Joe Carroll. How are you this evening?
Pretty good. This is on P. Diddy.
Okay, go ahead. Let us have it on P. Diddy.
I think he's gonna go down.
And who do you think that might be going down with him? Have you been paying attention to what's going on?
Yeah, I think a lot of the politicians gonna go with him.
Really? What about, I saw photos of Hillary Clinton. You think she's going to be tied to P. Diddy somehow?
Yeah, and Ellen DeGeneres too, and Oprah.
Ooh. All right. Well, I'm going to cut it short so that we can move on for the technical difficulties. But Joe Carroll, thank you so much for being our first caller tonight. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Tammy, did you hear that cool accent that she's got?
Yes, I love it.
So we see Joe Carroll all the time in chat, and she follows you on Headline Hits. And I see her all the time. If she doesn't catch you live, she always sends you a message. Hey, I didn't get to catch you live, but I'm watching you now. She is like the sweetest gal who follows you and follows us, and she's back in chat. And I'm so glad she was the first caller tonight. So we'll take one more caller on P. Diddy or the tariffs. Anybody who wants to call in if you think tariffs are good, bad, or P. Diddy. So, Tammy, let's get back to Trump and his donating his annual salary. Here's my question. Do you know if the salary is monthly? Does he get a monthly check, or do they get just an annual salary at the end of the like at the end of the year or beginning of the year? Do you know how that plays out at all, Tammy?
I don't, but he says his annual salary. So obviously that's how much he makes a year. I just don't see him receiving a check in his bank account every 2 weeks or so. Yeah. You know what I mean? I
don't know how it works. So
I might be wrong, but I think that it would
Jeff's
be
saying
every 2 weeks. So he is saying, so it is like all of us.
Yeah.
So Jeff B, see, I just didn't think that, but I find it interesting how people will not pay attention to what the last administration, the things that they did, but really call out
the last administration spent a lot of money on ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream, yeah. And he was at the beach a lot. Maybe not at the golf course, but at the beach. So what?
What an idiot. That's all I can say is what an idiot. Like, the whole administration was just a dumpster fire from hell. I love what the producer's doing with the call-in number and stuff. It's awesome. So anyone really else, one last caller, I'd love to have somebody call in and tell us what you think about the tariffs real quick. Whether you think that's not a good idea and we're going to suffer, or it's a great idea, you can't wait. I think I saw, was it Jenny C or somebody had made a statement, can't be any worse than what we have now. And I totally agree with that statement. Like, I'm willing to at least try it and give it a chance. And if it's horrible, we can always go back to the way we've always done things. So, just crazy. All right. Next topic, Tammy. Let's get going here.
Okay, this will be for people who love the NFL, because everybody stepped away from the NFL for a long time, right? Because of the different goings on of the players and whatnot, kneeling at the national anthem and all that stuff. But Trump announced today the Commanders are hosting the 2027 NFL Draft in Washington, D.C. on the National Mall. And also the Commanders have reached an agreement with the D.C. government to build a stadium on the old RFK site, but that's still pending council approval. The teams are under new ownership since 2023. Josh Harris's group bought the team then, and he's been trying to land the draft for multiple years and always losing out to my alma mater, Detroit, Michigan, or Green Bay. So I want to know what you think about that, because they were talking about building a new stadium there, all the money that it's going to bring, the excitement it's going to bring back to DC, the celebration of DC. And I'm going to just add this little last point. Remember those people who were so-called truth tellers that said DC was going to become a museum and it was going to become non-existent? I think that we found out that must be a falsehood if they're going to bring out the NFL draft in 2027.
Okay, so I'm confused here. I'm going to tell people, go ahead and call in. The number is 620-317-1776. Go ahead and call in, and you can make comment on either the first two topics, or you make comment on Donald Trump's salary if you appreciate him doing that, or don't, or Biden was a great president. I don't even care. And now so are they holding the NFL draft in Washington, D.C. in 2027? Okay, so that's 2 years from now. And they're also talking about building a new stadium, correct?
Yes. And
okay,
the old
so here's
RFK
my thought
site.
on this. Here's my thought on this. I loved the Washington Redskins. Now, they weren't my favorite team. I just liked the helmet. I liked the team. I liked the logo. They won Super Bowl against Buffalo, and I think I saw Michelle in here. She's a big Buffalo fan, I believe. There's a couple of our gals that are big Buffalo fans, but I heard that there's a lot of Native Americans that are pissed off that they changed the name from the Washington Redskins to the Washington Commanders. So I would like to hear from anybody who's a football fan. Do you think that they should change the name back to the Washington Redskins, or do you like it the Washington Commanders? Go ahead and call in 620-317-1776. Make it short, make it quick, make a comment, ask a question on any of those four topics there. But they've changed the NFL so much that to me it's not even fun watching anymore. But I'm super energized because my boy, Aston Genty, went to the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, which I wish they were still Oakland. So I'm gonna have to support the black and silver just because he's my boy, and I hope, I got a connection to him, and I'm gonna reach out and see if I can't get Aston Genty to come on the show here with me and do something. But that's not a guarantee. But I do have a connection for that, and I will try to do that. But I'm loving the fact that he's going to the Raiders, and in my opinion, he's the next Emmitt Smith / Barry Sanders / Bo Jackson. And Bo Jackson was one of my favorite. Barry Sanders also one of my favorite, and Emmitt Smith not my favorite, but he holds the record for most rushing yards in NFL history. So great running back, can't be denied.
Well, I used to love football too. I got the comment I think you might have missed from Jeff B says maybe we can get Senator Warren to call in about the Washington Redskins.
Senator Warren, if you're listening right now, you need to call in and explain yourself on how you actually went to college as Pocahontas, as a Native American, and got your college paid for. Such horseshit. Like,
well, they went through
that woman is crazy.
Yeah, they went through changing everything. That's what the Biden administration and the left did pretty much. And, they did put a bad taste in our mouths with the sports. Unfortunately, the Super Bowl, the intermission, the halftime show used to be such a big deal. And they really made it ugly and dirty and nasty. And
it got too evil for me.
Yes.
The nasty sexual part was bad enough. And then it went evil. What really probably killed it for me for watching a lot of sports is when they started kneeling for the national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically when I pulled the plug and said, nah, not watching these guys anymore. If you can't honor our flag and the men and women who have fought and died for that flag, you're not going to get my money watching you or buying any of your sports stuff or supporting you in any way. That's pretty much was the nail in the coffin for me, is when they started kneeling, and then when they started doing other things like playing a different national anthem.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of that either. So you guys can call in and tell us about that if you choose to. 620-317-1776. That's an easy one to remember and say, Tammy.
It really is.
I don't even get tongue twisted with that one.
That's good.
We're gonna keep moving on here, folks. I really appreciate Joe Carroll for being so brave and courageous to call in tonight, and it couldn't have been too hard. She made it happen. So anybody else that wants to call in would love to have a comment from you. So Tammy, where are we going from here?
Don't be shy, guys. Well, this is going to tie into that in a sense that I want to give President Trump credit for bringing, it to DC for one, and for trying to revive energy into the sports again, because, that was an American pastime. But this ties into it because there is going to be a military parade that is coming to DC as well on June 14th, which is also the president's 79th birthday. It is going to honor veterans. It's going to celebrate active duty service members and mark the U.S. Army's 250th birthday. Now, this is a big undertaking. So let me read a couple of these things, and then I'm going to tell you what the downside of this is. So there's going to be apparently 6,600 soldiers there, 150 vehicles there, 50 helicopters, and the route's going to be from Arlington, Virginia to the National Mall. However, a lot of the heavy machinery is not going to go over that bridge there from Arlington and to DC because of, it could cause problems. Of course, the mayor, who was back actually next to Trump today in a presser and looked very uncomfortable, she was a big naysayer, and she said, this is going to cost tons of money. And if you do this with this equipment, you better make sure you have millions back it up and to recover in the city the damage it's going to do to the roads and lawns and stuff like that. But I think that it's a remarkable, wonderful celebration. And it is just the lead off, he said, to the 250-year lead up to this great country. And I think, who doesn't love a parade? There's going to be fireworks, there's going to be performances, and honoring our military, I think, is something that, that's close to my heart. They are underappreciated. So I think it's great that the president's trying to bring things into DC, but the naysayers, of course, are talking about, like I just said with the mayor, about what the damage it's going to do and the millions it's going to cost. However, Doge found trillions of misused money. We know all the details about that. So my feeling is, I don't care how much it costs. My taxpayer money, I would much rather go something like that we can all enjoy. And the money's been found from Doge. They can put that in instead of it going to foreign countries. And that's my take on it. People don't know how to celebrate a parade. They still naysaying that as well.
Well, I love me a good parade. And thank you to all you men and women out there who have served your country proudly. Thank you for that, because we couldn't be doing what we're doing tonight without your efforts and without your service to this country. So thank you guys for that. And I love the idea of having a parade for our military. Past presidents have had other parades, with colored flags of the rainbow, and spent lots of money doing that too. And so did cities and mayors. And, I'm glad that those people can celebrate themselves, but I shouldn't be forced to have to celebrate with you if I don't agree about it, about that lifestyle. But I think everybody should stand up and salute the flag and show respect to the flag, show respect to this country, because this country is great and allows you to have those other type of parades. And I think that we should honor our men and women of service, past, present, and future, and I like the fact that Trump is making that a very important priority for this country. To me, he's kickstarting a lot of things over again. He's really injecting energy and enthusiasm again into sports and into our military and into the families, even supporting our families. So to me, kudos again. If you want to call in, make it quick. 620-317-1776. Would love to hear from you. A short, quick comment about any of the topics we've covered so far tonight. Where are we going next, Tammy?
Well, let's cover the Mexican president real quick here because
Go ahead.
She said no to President Trump offering help from the U.S. military to go into the country and take out the violent cartels and stuff. And President Trump said he made a statement stating that he felt that she was so afraid of the cartels she wouldn't do that. So I'm not real, let's say, seasoned in the politics of something like that, because she was saying that Mexico will stand sovereign on their own. They will never, ever accept U.S. military in their territory to help them and assist them. She said that they will continue negotiations and working with us. They do have 10,000 soldiers on the border on their side to try to protect the border, secure the border. But the thing is, I thought, even though I don't know the gory details and the history of that kind of stuff, it made sense to me to think, if you have one of the greatest powers of the United States military offering to come in and wipe everything out once and for all with these drug dealers and drug cartels and all these bad people have caused so much harm all across the world, really. Why would you say no to that? Is it pride? Is it politics in a way that I don't understand? I just don't get it. She said she'll still work with us, but she doesn't want our military there. So I wanted to get your take on it.
Well, okay, here's my take. I think it's badass that we have Donald J. Trump for our president. First thing, day one. All right, we got some callers coming in.
Okay.
I want to go ahead and address the callers, and then don't let me forget to give you my thought on that.
Sounds good.
Producer, let's go ahead and bring in, it looks like the same number, so it looks like maybe just one caller. But let's go ahead and bring in our next caller to the show. Welcome to LWN Network tonight, caller. Where are you from? What's your name? And how are you doing tonight? Uh-oh. What happened? We lost the caller. We'll try it again. Maybe they hung up. Let's try her again there, producer. All right, we'll try her again. Hello, and welcome to LWN tonight. Caller, where are you from? What's your name?
Hey, I'm on there.
Yep, you're on air.
Oh, hey, what's up? This is Tom. I'm from El Paso.
Tom?
Yeah, from El Paso.
How you doing tonight, Tom?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. So what is your comment? What subject are we talking about?
I just want to talk about border security,
Okay.
This is a really big issue for me. I'm a divorced man. My wife ran off with a Latino guy named Luis who has a 12-inch penis.
All right. We'll go ahead and just drop that call.
That was a feisty one.
That was kind of funny, but probably not appropriate for the show. But hey, he gave us his best shot.
Indeed, he did.
But, okay, so good point. Even though it was a joke, good point. So border security is important for the stability of America and for our sovereignty, right? So what I was getting ready to make a point about was Donald Trump, day one, comes in, shuts the border down, sends our military to support local law enforcement. And, we've had some of the smallest number of people crossing the border in the last 4 years since he took office. And so when you talk about the Mexican president of Mexico, he also forced them to put military on their side of the border as well to help stop this and curb this. Is it perfect? No. Are there still people getting across? Absolutely. But it's not like it was for the last 4 years where it was just absolute open border and people flooding across our border, Tammy. So I think it was awesome.
Good. I agree with you. And the money that they're worried about being spent, like I said, they've spent and wasted so much money over the years. That's how a lot of them got rich and have all these homes and stuff. So them to rile up and say we shouldn't do that, it costs too much money. To me, it's more than the money. It's about, the heart of the country and people getting back into the celebration of this country and, being happy for a change. It's like misery loves company, and they want us to stay miserable and angry. So anyways,
well, and we need to help those single dads out there that are losing wives to, these illegals crossing the border, packing things and destroying families. Like, come on, man, we need to help these people out. That poor guy, I feel sorry for him. Maybe he needs to go see a doctor and see if there's something that can help him. I don't know, but it just is.
Hey, at least he had a sense of humor. I think people have lost their sense of humor.
I know. And he called in. I appreciate the call.
And it's cute because Joe Carroll said, I forgot to tell Mike where I was from. She said I was nervous.
I was just as nervous, Joe Carroll, and I forgot to ask. So we just love your accent. And she says she's from Mississippi. So absolutely love the accent. Well, Tammy, 2 callers on our first night, and it's not quite the train wreck we thought it might be. So let's keep rolling.
Yeah, it was going good. It's going good. So guys, go ahead and call in. Go ahead. I'll tell you to go ahead too. So let's talk about a couple of the EOs that were signed today. The president did sign 5 of them, but one of them that I thought was really cool and is going to help us big time is the one he signed called Improving Safety and Security of Biological Research. And he signed it this afternoon. And what that is doing.
That's a big one. That's a big one, Tammy, especially when we know what happened here in 2020 through 2022 at least. Stuff that came from China. So pretty important EO.
Yes. What it does is it's banning all the federal funding for dangerous gain of function research in China, Iran, and other countries, and blocking funding for any foreign research that could spark another pandemic. So to me, that's a big boom. That is a big, huge deal that he had the bravery and the courage to do that. Because think of how many corporations that are supposedly in there to help us are furious because they're losing all their funding. They're going to lose everything. So we know what happened with that. So kudos to him for doing that one.
Thank you, President Trump.
Yes. Then he made National Small Business Week, which is May 4th to the 10th. So this week he's going to make that because he said, I want people to enjoy being an entrepreneur again, that 33 million small businesses are out there and they employ like 617 million Americans. And they actually create almost, he said, 2 out of 3 jobs, every 3 jobs in this country. So to celebrate National Small Business Week is a great change of pace because it's always been about these big corporations. And we know with the sickness and all that, how many got shut down in that. Yes. So I was very happy that he did that one as well. And then this one was interesting and I'm surprised it wasn't in there already. He made May 4th, 10th, same week this week, National Hurricane Preparedness Week to inform and warn of the danger of hurricanes and give people a heads up about it, which, I'm surprised something like that wasn't already in there. So I think with everything going on with FEMA and that, they're restructuring it all. And I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do with it. The programs put in place, the helpline numbers, the information, maybe there's packets that people are going to be able to pick up or whatever it may be to just help them prepare before it's like on the news and saying, hey, go take cover. This is coming last minute. So it was just pretty interesting. A lot of it was about, health issues, the 5 of them, and about, obviously the hurricane. And then he made May the month of National Mental Health Awareness Month, which to me is another big deal because you and I have spoken many years about how the mental health programs have shut down the facilities and there's so many sick and ill people on the streets that do need help, that I'm hoping that they put in place more of these buildings again, these programs to help people and get them off the streets. So I think they were very good EOs that he signed today, and we'll have to follow through and see if they become law.
Oh, thank you for reporting on that, Tammy. Just to everybody listening tonight, thank you for joining us on YouTube, the X, and Rumble. Do us a favor, and if you like our content, please hit that like button tonight, the little heart or the like button, whatever it is in front of you. Repost it, reshare it. That really helps us build this channel. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. But I want to ask chat, if you guys love the call-in show tonight and want us to continue the call-in show and bring it back, please drop a 1 in chat for us tonight. I'd really like to see how many people miss the call-in show, want the call-in show back, because we love doing it. And like I said, that's what I cut my teeth on many years ago. I'm going to get back to it, and excited for the future. So, Tammy, the EOs, I just think that, holy shit.
I told you they love
Chat just blew up with a bunch of ones. Thank you for
Don't
that.
be
Appreciate
nervous
it.
to call in. I know people get nervous, but
don't
really
don't
just
get nervous. I mean, hell, we just had
face
a guy
your fear.
that was needing border protection from
Yeah.
Big Salami.
He was reaching out.
He was reaching out, reaching out, touching somebody 6 inches at a time. There we go. All right. Thank you, producer. Appreciate that. Yeah. So I just feel like he is definitely trying to encompass everything that we're always concerned about, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of that stuff went unaddressed for 4 years, and a lot of people have suffered for that. So I just feel like he's just trying to make a difference, and I can appreciate that. So go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. I guess it's time for Alcatraz.
All right, let's hit Alcatraz. I can't wait. So buckle up. There is a lot of history on Alcatraz. A lot of history. I spent a little while today. I actually had some free time. Tammy and I discussed what we wanted to talk about tonight. And so don't forget, before Alcatraz, let's talk about Trump and the Pope thing real quick.
Oh, yeah, I did forget.
And then we're going to talk about Alcatraz.
Yeah,
but
I did
there is
forget.
a lot of history about Alcatraz, and it starts all the way back into the 1700s with the Spanish naming that island long time ago. So we're going to talk about that next after we talk about Donald Trump dressed as the Pope.
Okay, so thanks for reminding me, because that is a big one.
That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Yes, you do. That's why you're in the lead chair. Shoot, we're 1 for 1 now. Let's see who's going to end up on top after this. Who's going to get the next drum roll? But anyhow, there was a meme going around, and it was a meme of President Trump dressed in the papa costume.
Oh,
okay, well, I won't say uniform, whatever.
With the
and his
screaming
finger
liberals
was up.
right. I saw it with the screaming liberals right behind him. It was hilarious.
I didn't see that one. So anyways, there was a gamut of emotion. I mean, this hit nerves. So a lot of people didn't take it as the joke that I think it was, as him trolling. Some people,
Total
trolling.
troll.
Total.
Donald Trump is a master troller. Master troller.
Hook, line, and
He
sinker.
loves to push buttons, and he loves to get under people's skin. And I just sit back and just watch. I think it's hilarious.
Now, the other aspect was people said, well, it's gold and his finger's up, and it represents that he has all the gold from the Vatican, which is that conspiracy or that thought that's been going around.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show, and we're going to get to that when we do our conspiracy show here. Hopefully, I want to talk to you over the weekend and stuff, and maybe we can put something together for next week or the week after. But we're definitely talking about the Vatican and all the gold for sure.
I've been saving stuff about aliens, all kinds of good stuff. I can't wait, you guys. I've been fascinated with UFOs and aliens my whole entire life.
All right,
so
let's stay on track.
Okay, okay.
Get back
we
to
gallop forward
the gold,
like
the
sovereignty.
gold in the finger.
Okay, and then other people.
Jesus, that was a slap across the face. Don't mess with me.
And then other people are saying that he had no respect for the Pope's passing and blah, 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 and on and on. But in reality, we know a lot of bad things did happen with that Pope and other popes. Not that we shouldn't honor his life and pray for his passing and all that stuff. But, You know, what about Halloween? People dress up as nuns and everything else for Halloween, angels, devils, you know, probably the Pope. You know, people dress up in that in Halloween and nobody seems to have a problem with it. But because President Trump did it, so all of a sudden they said it was in bad taste. So just a lot of different emotions. What I took it as, at first I saw that and I go, I can't believe it. He really did that. And I thought, I can't believe it. He really did that. He's a genius. Like, because he is amazing. He's on top of everything. He's one step ahead. And it may be his team, obviously, but they are amazing. They are timely with everything. And the whole McDonald's meme, remember when he was out the window hanging out at the McDonald's drive-through window, became a meme. So I took it as, I'm thankful that he can still negotiate, be serious, get business taken care of, but still has a great sense of humor, whether you like it or not. To keep your sense of humor is to keep your life and to be healthy. And I think it's wonderful that he has that, whether you agree with it or not.
Okay. My turn. I'm going to say this real quick. 620-317-1776. Call in and tell us what you think about Trump dressed as the Pope. Here's my question to chat. Here's my question to the first caller that calls in. Was the Pope dead, passed long before what we were shown? Do you believe that he was gone for a while and that some of the things that we seen was CGI? Because Jeff B sent me video the other day and I was like, well, okay, all right. Listen, do I believe it? I believe it's possible. It's very, very possible that he had passed before they released it. How long? I don't know. Was it a day or two? Was it a week? Was it a month? Was it a couple of months? I don't know. But is there anybody out there brave enough to call 620-317-1776 and say, yeah, you believe that the Pope had been gone for a while? I mean, I know that can be conspiracy theory, and I know we got a lot of people in chat that believe in a lot of those things, and that's quite okay with me. Some of it I believe. So, yeah, the Pope had 3 hands.
I saw that.
You're absolutely right, Rosemary, and that was the video that Jeff B sent me. Was the Pope was cruising in the vehicle and raised his hands up, and there was another hand sitting on his lap, which I thought was very strange. Now, can video be manipulated? Absolutely, 100%, definitely could be. Was that CGI? Were we meant to see that as CGI and they made a mistake? Very possible. But just, I don't know. That whole thing is sketch to me, Tammy. Absolutely
it is to
sketch.
me. When I saw that, it is sketch because AI, that's the one thing they haven't nailed yet, are the hands. They say the hands are what is telling. And also there was a appearance at the Vatican, the big window, whatever they call that, when he steps out onto the balcony a couple years ago. Remember?
Yeah, we played that a few years ago.
Yeah, and all of a
where
sudden
he like disappeared.
He disappeared. Yeah. It was really weird. So they're using it for some reason, right? What is the reason? And my personal guess is that he passed in the hospital and they didn't want us to know. Another meme that came out was they said we have a new Pope and it was orange smoke coming out of the smokestack because why? President Trump.
Orange man. But I think that's hilarious. And I don't know. Was Trump being funny with the meme or was he sending a message? That's another question I would have for anybody who wanted to call in tonight. 620-317-1776 right there on your screen. I kind of think it was a joke, but I kind of think that maybe it was a message, and I'm tippy-toeing out there on that one, Tammy, but I don't see Trump doing it as just 100% a joke. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know how people try to tell you the truth, but they do it as a joke, and you're kind of like, were they just joking or were they trying to say something else? Yeah, that's my take on it. That's my read on it. Is he was trying to do it as a joking thing, but I think it had a
saying
little.
something.
I think it had a little more meaning behind it. That's just my own opinion.
Well, especially since he retweeted it or reposted it on his own page. It wasn't Dan Scavino doing it on his page and other people just sharing it. When he puts it on his page, that's something else. That's a whole different game. And I don't know, there was another picture that came out, and I actually sent it to you too, which ties into this. And it was a picture of the President Trump and Melania inside the Vatican. Their backs were to the camera and they were side by side. And there was one from like a few years ago, or like 2017 or 18 or something. And it's the same picture that came out that was put out this year too. So that circulated and stuff as well. So, there's nothing that can ever be just cut and dry anymore. You just really have to dig deeper. That's for sure.
No, there's always something. There's always something. It's wild. All right. Now let's get to the hottest topic that is going around right now on the internet, circulating on all mainstream media. I even read an article today from CNN, Communist News Network. Let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, Alcatraz. Like, man, what drew me in a long time ago when I was a kid was watching Clint Eastwood in the movie Escape from Alcatraz. That drew me in as a young kid long time ago. I thought that was just the coolest movie ever. And he played a part of one of the three that did supposedly escape from Alcatraz, and they never found their bodies. Which, again, Tammy, this could be another one of our topics for our conspiracy show. Even though a lot of it is fact, it could be a lot of fun speculating on stuff. And so let me give the audience just a little bit of background about Alcatraz, and you can pipe in anytime you want to help me with the history of Alcatraz. But it goes all the way back to the 1700s, and the Spaniards were the first ones who actually found Alcatraz. And if you do research on it, Alcatraz in Spanish means pelican. So it's called Pelican Island, basically, from the Spaniards. And then a European came by and saw it. And the Spain actually owned it, and it was given from the governor of Spain, or no, was it Spain or Mexico? Maybe I'm getting confused here. Anyway, it ended up in the hands, and I don't have the article in front of me. I did have it earlier, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. The point is Spain owned it. And then a gentleman came and bought it from Spain for America, thought he was going to get a good deal from America for securing that, especially around the Spanish-American War, because that was like a defense island there, right? It could be fortified. Spain wanted to build a lighthouse on it. That was the first thing that was built on Alcatraz, was a lighthouse. And then it went to America, and they screwed the guy over, never paid him for it. They even, from the 1840s, I think it was, all the way up to the 1890s, that family actually sued America trying to get paid for that island and never got a dime for it.
Wow.
And then it turned around and went to the military, the Army, what is it, the engineer detail of the Army. And so after the Spanish-American War, then we have the Civil War breaking out. And so they made a military fortress and tried to build it up, puts a garrison there, put some cannons there, put some soldiers there. And then it was used during the Civil War to actually take Confederates there. They had Confederates that were imprisoned there in a real small room under the barracks or something there. It was very small. So then they kept building it and building it more and building it more. It stayed a military operation clear up until like the 1930s is when it finally turned into a federal prison, right around the 1930s, sometime in there. And I know my dates aren't exact because I don't have the article in front of me. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of the history of Alcatraz. Now, from the 1930s all the way to the 1960s, it housed some of the most notorious criminals in American history, including Al Capone. Al Capone was there. Machine Gun Kelly was also in prison there. So there was many attempts to escape, and there's always debate on whether people actually escaped or didn't escape. Of course, Alcatraz, they always said nobody ever really escaped. And the thing about Alcatraz, holy shit, I just lost my whole screen. Oh, there we go. All right, we're back. The thing about Alcatraz is it has some very unique currents, and the water temperature there is very cold. So if you did try to escape, the likelihood of you getting sucked under in the undertows and drowning was a pretty big thing, or getting hypothermia by the time you get to shore. And the shoreline there from Alcatraz is exactly 1.25 miles. So that was quite the swim. And then let's see, in the 60s, they started having some successful escapes, and people believe that Alcatraz was closed because too many people were escaping and getting away. That's not true. What happened was all the salt water and the salt air started eroding a lot of the infrastructure of Alcatraz, and they deemed it unsafe. And so they closed it down and then turned it over to the national parks, and you can go take tours now and stuff like that. They made movies there. So which brings me up to today. And I'm going to let you take over when we're talking about Trump and what he just said yesterday. Go ahead, Tammy.
Well, I will with that, but I'll add there were 3 inmates. It was brothers Frank and brothers Clarence and John Anglin and Frank Morris.
That was the Clint Eastwood movie.
Yep.
So they never found their bodies.
Nope. And they worked on that case. Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
They worked on the case for over 17 years. And
then there was one more after them, a single guy, and he actually made it to the shore. And he had hypothermia so bad that the police just walked right up to him on the beach and he was unconscious. So there was one more individual, and I can't remember what his name, John something, who actually made it out of Alcatraz alive as well to the shoreline. So here, look at what Outlandish Patriots comment is. I think Alcatraz first new prisoner can be Fauci.
I like that idea.
Love it.
I definitely
Right,
like
so
that
anyway,
idea.
I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of background of Alcatraz. I know everybody knows, especially my age and older, they know what Alcatraz is and where Alcatraz is and what it was. But a lot of the backstory on that, how it's been around for a long time, and it's always been a very huge focal point for our West Coast, especially military operations. So anyway, I just want to do that. Go ahead, Tammy.
That's
Go
good
ahead.
to have that. And the other, the most feared man in there.
I just wanted to prove to you I did some homework.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. If you said, I sat back in awe going, he did a lot of work and he's remembering that. But do you know who the most feared man in there was? He actually was called the Birdman because You do? What's his name? Do you remember?
No. I did read part of that. I cannot remember the details.
Robert
but I remember
Sprague.
the Birdman was. I think he was the one that spent the most time in Alcatraz.
Yes, and he spent 54 years in there. And check this out: 42 of it was in solitary confinement. And when I realized that, I was horrified because I'm like, solitary confinement for 42 years. How do you not go crazy? But he ended up raising like over 300 birds there, and he actually became respected for what he knew about birds, an ornithologist or something it's called. But anyways, he was in there. And then also what I didn't know, I knew that you could visit and they had tours there, but it makes over $60 million a year. So of course, Gavin Newsom is against the reopening of it because he wants to keep funding that money and keep having the money in there.
Screw him. He should be a roommate there.
Yeah, right. Oh, maybe he will. But President Trump, what he had to say about this was...
let's have it. Hold on. Time out. Pause. I just want to say this real quick. If you guys want to make a comment about Alcatraz or who you think should be the first prisoner in Alcatraz if they open it back up, call 620-317-1776. Call in. Tell us who you think should be the first prisoner in Alcatraz, or do you believe that we should spend the money to revive it and open it up? Should we not? I'll take both sides of that coin. I don't care. So go ahead and call in. Go ahead, Tammy. Go ahead.
Well, President Trump said that to rebuild and open it, he said, for too long, America has been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering. You have to agree with him on that. When some were more serious nation when we were, he said, in times past, we didn't hesitate to lock these people up away from anyone who could do harm. Because now we lock them up, they let them out, we lock them up, we let them out, repeat offenders over and over again. So he said, we are no longer going to tolerate serial offenders who spread filth, bloodshed, and mayhem on our streets. That is why today I am directing the Bureau of Prisons, together with the Department of Justice, FBI, and Homeland Security, to reopen a substantially enlarged and rebuilt Alcatraz to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders. We will no longer be held hostage to criminals, thugs, and get this, judges that are afraid to do their job and allow us to remove criminals who came into our country illegally. The reopening of Alcatraz will serve as a symbol of law, order, and justice.
Yes.
And he said, we
That's
will
my
make
favorite
America.
part. Thank you.
That is it.
Thank you.
Yes.
My favorite part of what Trump said is we are going to say that again, Tammy.
He
So I
said,
don't mess it up.
Yep, Alcatraz will serve as a symbol of law, order, and justice.
Justice. I love it. I agree with Outlandish Patriots comment. She says, that's a I want to see those movies again.
Mhm.
And I agree with that. I want to see the Clint Eastwood movie because that was like one of the originals. Loved it. But how about the Sean Connery one called The Rock? That was a good one, too, where he actually had to sneak back into Alcatraz. So he was one of the only guys in the movie. He was one of the only guys that ever escaped Alcatraz. And then I can't remember who went and got him and brought him in. I think it might have been a Baldwin. I'm not sure. But he had to help sneak them back into Alcatraz because there was some terrorists there or something that were getting ready to fire off missiles, or I don't know. It was something, but it was a great movie. The Rock with Sean Connery.
I forgot about that till you brought it up. So yeah, it's
I'm a genius, Tammy. What can I say?
He really believes he is, you guys. But yeah, Escape from Alcatraz, Birdman of Alcatraz, and The Rock are the three that are the main ones that I know of.
I'm gonna have to watch them because I like what Trump said. We are going to bring law, order, and justice back to America. Here's my question for chat tonight before we wrap this up. I'm going to give two more callers an opportunity to call in. 620-317-1776. Call in. Give us your thoughts on Alcatraz. But, Tammy, I'm going to ask the chat, do they think that Donald Trump not only wants to revive this for law, order, and justice, but is he going to send a message with certain people that he would incarcerate there versus going to like somewhere like Gitmo, like big names? Like some of them were Fauci. I saw another one. I think Michelle C said something like Pelosi. Could you imagine if he sent Fauci, Pelosi, the Bidens,
The
Obamas,
the
Clinton
people.
Yeah,
You said the name, I didn't.
Hey, I'm not suicidal or anything, but if they come after me, I don't care. But do you think that maybe some of those big name people here, I guess here's my question for you and for chat. Would it make more of a statement to send those individuals to Gitmo where they're kind of out of sight, out of mind? Or would it be a bigger statement to send them somewhere like fucking Alcatraz?
How about it's an island as well? Wink, wink. What other island do we know? He's going to switch it up from Epstein Island and all those people.
Just saying.
To that.
That's my
How
question.
genius is that? And you know what? He doesn't even have to do a lot to rebuild it. The people he sends there can do that. They can paint and clean and mop floors and change the light bulbs and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yeah, that
that'll
would be
work.
one heck of a statement. And I wouldn't put it past the man if that would be done soon and quick enough
I
to
might
put
apply
cameras
for a
up there.
prison guard for that. If those people are in prison there, I might actually apply for a prison guard there.
Yeah, I mean, these judges, I think that's what he means by law, order, and justice. And he said that we used to do
And
that.
he said judges.
Yes, it judges in his statement. He absolutely did, because we know, and I've been reporting every day on all these judges that keep going at him, and they don't have any authority to do that. That's the whole thing. They're just spending money, wasting money. People that aren't as informed buy into it and say, look at Trump and all these judges. We appreciate the judges. They're going after him because he's crooked. You know, people need to wake up and see and get out of your little bubble and cloud.
Here's an idea. Trump is also in entertainment, right? He did The Apprentice for a long time. Could you imagine making a movie called Alcatraz and and put it on pay-per-view? Because I just saw Rosemary's comment. People would pay money to see them behind bars. But how many people would pay pay-per-view to watch these sons of bitches be walked across into a boat? And they could do a whole show about it, taking the cross in a boat to Alcatraz. Could you see poor Nancy Pelosi behind bars on Alcatraz? I mean, I'd sign up for a monthly subscription to watch that shit. And then, like you said, Tammy, putting them to work, seeing Nancy Pelosi wash the walls or paint the walls, and Hillary Clinton over there scraping paint and doing shit.
And the only thing,
I mean, you want to eliminate the national debt or make a huge dent in it? Hell,
there you go.
Rebuild Alcatraz, pay-per-view, put those asshole politicians, those criminals, those corrupt politicians in behind bars on Alcatraz, and everybody would buy a subscription.
And the only thing Pelosi gets to drink is water, prison water. Well, she's going to have a fit about that.
And then once a month we'd have a hanging or some type of execution.
And they can only wear something. They have orange suits on representing Donald Trump and have Trump 24
Man, I need
here
somebody
and
who's
his
really
face on the
good
back.
making memes to make some memes like that. If
put
I
on
was
their-
really
their-
good at making memes, I'd make some memes like that and make $1 million.
Yeah. But Michelle Gale said they need to make license plates. Yeah, let's do that.
Hell
You know, anything, doing anything. And that's like I said, we don't have to do it. Let the prisoners do it. They have to do
Absolutely.
something.
All right, last go right here. 620-317-1776. I'll
Who's
take
going to be
one
the
caller.
third brave one?
I'll take the last caller of tonight if anybody wants to be brave enough to call up.
One more.
And then we're going to wrap it up and get out of here. So start thinking about your final thought there, Tammy. Man, I have so many ideas for Alcatraz and how to make money on that whole deal. Like, let me run that prison. Let me run that freaking prison.
Well, it says make Alcatraz
Make
full again.
Alcatraz full
Outlandish
again. I love
patriot.
Yeah.
President Trump
we need
has
to make some T-shirts like that. Hey, Jeff B, are you still watching? Make me some damn T-shirts that says "Make Alcatraz full again." We'll sell them right here at LWN.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I don't know. There's just
if he ain't on here, I'm calling him tomorrow. I'm gonna tell him make that damn T-shirt for me.
Make the T-shirt.
Let's get it. Let's get it done right now. I want one of those T-shirts. Make Alcatraz full again. Love it.
And now we know why. When we start looking at all these different things that the president is saying, the administration is doing, you see why some of the people are screaming the way they're screaming. You see why President Biden used an auto pen to give pardons to people who didn't even commit crimes that we know of that have been proven yet. So, you put all that together.
None of it's going to hold up, Tammy. None of it's going to hold up. And they very well could end up in Alcatraz.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something. All right. Well, no caller. That's okay. We will we'll go ahead and sign off tonight, and we'll give our final thoughts. So thanks to the two brave souls who called in tonight to be our first callers. So thank you to Joe Carroll and the Big Salami. Appreciate that. And it was funny. I get it, jokester, and I can have fun with it too. So let's roll into final thought. Thanks for joining me tonight, Tammy. I know Jeff B was wanting to. He had thunderstorms there in Ohio. Matter of fact, one of our producers was having some issues too, and I was a little concerned that we might have had to go with this alone tonight, and that would have been a freaking train wreck, I guarantee you.
It's okay. Those are fun sometimes, the kind that we have anyhow.
But I'll let ladies go first.
Well, my final thought is it was good to laugh, flashback, see the lighter side of things we've got some positive things coming down the pipe with the parade, even though the final details aren't in yet. Just to know that the president is trying to move this country in a positive way and to pay attention to small businesses and we the people. And they keep saying, some of the naysayers say that he's only concerned about elites and rich people. That's not true. It never has been true. You're damned if you have money and you're damned if you don't. People pick a side. So I think there's a lot of optimism. It's nice to have a sense of humor in here again as well. And thank you guys for all your wonderful comments and information. It was just amazing. It was a really good night.
It was an amazing night. I'm going to say this to all of our listeners tonight. Man, hang on, because the call-in show's coming back. Spread the word. I know Michelle C. and a bunch of them are over there modding on other shows, but when you run into some of the old LWN people over there, let them know. Call-in show is coming back. It's bigger. It's better than ever. It's easier. It's going to be way easier. Jill Carroll called in tonight. I'm sure it wasn't too difficult for her. All she had to do was hop off of YouTube or wherever she's watching us there, and then just call in the number, and she was on. It was that easy. So I'm looking forward to that. That was something that was one of my favorite and one of Shane's favorite things to do, was just to talk to people from all over the world. We had people calling in from Canada, from from England, from the Philippines, we all corners of the earth, people were calling into this show. So we were one of the best out there and one of the first. So I call myself the grandfather of the YouTube call-in show, and grandfather's coming back. The Godfather's coming back, Tammy.
And you're looking like it too, Mike, I must say.
You better be careful. I was related to Al Capone. Scarface.
Oh no, here we go.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and sign off tonight. Thanks for joining us, folks. We will play our ending video as we creep out of here tonight, and it was just a wonderful night. So we'll see what the rest of the week brings. I know Tammy will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Headline Hits on the X, YouTube, and Rumble. And then I have another Wolfpack Sunday coming up this next Sunday as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And we had such a great time yesterday, me and my buddy Joel. If you missed that, you might want to jump back and check out yesterday's live that we did. Had a great time with him. So that being said, good night, and we'll catch you on the next one. Maybe. Soon. We're getting there. We're getting there. There it is.
Times I walk the road with no end in sight and question my life. Countless times I've sacrificed and lost my way. I've been down this road before. I've struggled with the pain when it pours. No one knows how I feel when I have to start again, and there's no one there to save me. Do you know how it feels when your world is gonna end, when I don't have a friend to stand with me? I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna make a comeback and rise up this time. And look into my soul and see a graveyard of crossroads filled with despair and defeat. Look into my eyes and see the haters call my name. Look into my soul and see redemption on its way. The demand is high to risk it all and put it all on the line. I'm gonna take my shot and never stop. I'm gonna swallow my pride and put it all on the line and rise up this time. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna make a comeback. is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah.